I'm live and I'm on Cliff Notes Live. How appropriate, right? I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live episode 226, I think. So it doesn't really matter, but I think it's episode 2,226. 2000. That I should be around for episode 2000. That's only 5 years, so fingers crossed. Anyway, hope you are doing fantastic. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to the last Monday in April. For those of you who haven't already done so, well, let me start before I do that. Big old SKD143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, love all you guys who come out here and hang with me. I certainly love chocolate, Easter bunnies. Finally finished those all off. That was amazing thing. Now that my kids are older, we don't have the mass influx of candy. Well, I say that as you look at my background. We'll talk about that in a second. Welcome to all of y'all on board. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, turning on notifications, hitting the old thumbs up. I think I mentioned last week, I may start a new segment on my YouTube channel, just travel stories. Instead of trying to do it in a book or anything else, maybe just do a little 3 to 5 minute long, quick little travel logs and do something like that. So if I do, and if you got notifications turned on, you may hear about it before other people, which you may care, you may not, but I'm just throwing it out there. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. It has been a long week. Hey, just like Jasmine from a couple of years ago on Big Brother, it wasn't just a birthday celebration for me. It was a birthday week. So we'll talk about that. I didn't have a cool little cart to ride around in like she did, but hey, you take what you can get. But no, I hope y'all are doing well. Let me see who all's out here, and then we're just going to get right into reality TV and everything else going on in this crazy world for the last week or so. Kennedy Franklin, going camping. Kennedy, have fun. I love the outdoors. Love the theme of my Big Brother house during my season. Felt like it was made just for me. Makes me think of camping and campouts and all. So with that in mind, have fun, Kennedy. I'm a little jealous of you. Ed's out there, Dad. How you doing, sir? Big Jake 88. Jake, I like to hear your senior name out there as well. Welcome in. Brian Hosteller. Brian, how are you, sir? I got my pointer here going. All right. Ma's out here as well. Ma, how are you doing? You've done another semester, right? Mark Taylor, Marilyn Sutherland, Carol Mosier, Audrey Cobb, Amanda, Karen Loveland. I just love seeing all these names out here week after week. I appreciate you guys. I truly do. Desiree Watts, Cindy Hire. Hi, Cindy. Pardon me. Just pollen in the air or something. Andy W. Let's see. Colleen's out here as well. God, my mouse is just not doing what it's supposed to do today. Colleen, howdy to you, my friend. Michelle Moore, Duck Dynasty fan 1, 2, 3. Hey, you can go camping as well. Duck Dynasty, I think been outdoors a little bit, huh? Let's see who else we have out here. Terry Thomas, Wyatt Garrett, howdy, Whitey. Howdy, Wyatt. How are you? Working on my linguistics here. Linguistics. Be one of those kind of nights. Kenty out here as well. Judd Dangle, Andy Yum Yum. Hey Yum Yum, how are you, my friend? Makes me think of Yam Yam from Survivor. Martino Williams, Marshall Davis, Karen Hummer. Let's see who else we got. I think that's about Tim Cox. I may have mentioned it, and Janet Johnson. Janet, I'm glad to see you out here as well. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. As I said, a lot going on. Y'all tell me, what do you want to talk about? We got a few reality TV seasons that are, well, one of them, Extracted. I don't know if y'all watched that. I know we enjoyed it. I loved it. Watching one person outside, their family members inside, was a lot of fun. That wrapped up, so we can certainly talk about that. And then, of course, we got Survivor. We've got Amazing Race. We can talk about that. Before I go any further, for those of you who may be up in the New York area, New England area, I don't know how far y'all are willing to travel, but Wednesday, April 30th, there is a casting call for Big Brother. Batavia, New York, casino up there. Don't really know the area. I don't know if that's upstate New York or central New York or the city or what, but there is a casting call in the New York area. So if you're in that general area, not really sure what format. Sometimes when you do a casting call, you show up and there's producers there and they'll talk to you individually or they'll have you do a video. Sometimes it's a little more, a little less formal. You'll show up and they'll just have a video camera, say, film it, you got a minute, and then we're going to send it all into Big Brother. So a lot of different ways they do it. And I'm not sure how Wednesdays is set up, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Every time that you get a chance to get in front of that camera and tell your story, whatever that story may be. And truly, you need to be a storyteller, I think. If you can tell that story, you never know when you may catch someone's eyes. You may have sent in a video already, and someone looked through it, and they just hadn't had their coffee yet for the morning or something. And so you got bypassed for no reason that you have anything to do with. And then you show up and you do it again, and you catch someone right after they had a fun evening or whatever, and you may be gold. So if you're in New York, think about it Wednesday. Let me know if anyone shows up for the casting calls. I want to hear kind of how it goes with that. But yeah, so we got that going on Wednesday, so keep that in mind. All right, let's see. We've got Kennedy Franken saying, like your background. All right, let's talk about my background, because that's probably a little confusing. I got kind of a double dose of sugar this past week. We had Easter, and then we had my birthday. And I got a lot of cool stuff on my birthday. Well, we'll talk about a little bit of that. Mainly, I got to spend time with my wife, both my kids, and my son-in-law and daughter-in-law. And having the whole family together is always the best gift that you could possibly have. But am I frozen again? What is going on with this camera? All right, hold on a second. We're gonna try to fix this, because I don't know what the issue is. I hope y'all can still hear me. It's just weird. We'll go back out there. I don't know, guys. The computer doesn't like me for some reason. Hey, they got all kinds of power outages over in Spain and Portugal and that part of the world. Maybe some of that's sliding in over here as well. I don't know. Tell me if can you hear me? If someone says you can hear me, then I'm feeling all right. Otherwise, I'll still talk anyway. All right, who's that saying? Karen's saying, hear you, but pick is frozen, then black. You're back now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Time for a new cap. I guess for my birthday, I should have gotten a new laptop as well. I don't know, whatever. We'll figure it. I'll keep on working. At least I know a solution at this point in time. Marilyn Southern saying, my birthday was yesterday. Marilyn, happy birthday to you, my friend, a fellow Taurus. I hope you had a fantastic celebration. Karen Hummer saying, got a birthday beach towel. Oh, for beach towel for my birthday. Well, that sounds good, because yeah, if you get a beach towel, that means you need the beach as well, right? We're to that point. It was 89 degrees yesterday down here, so we're certainly into beach weather. I just did again. I don't know, guys. Something going on with my internet connections today. Bear with me. Golly, I kind of hate that, but whatever. We'll make it work. As long as y'all can hear me, I'm not quite as work with what you can, and don't worry about what you can. I always say that I need to practice what I preach. All right. Anyway, now I lost my train. Oh, my background. All right. So we had Easter, which is always fun. Little candies, eggs here and there, and all that. Well, for my birthday, Sharon, who knows me so well, actually gave me a little bit of a fun present, a little bit of a surprise. And let me just show it off to you. For those of you who don't know, oh my God, it did it again. Just as I'm getting ready to show it to you. All right, hold on. Because you do actually have to see this one. Very weird. What could I have open on here? I don't know. At this point, I probably can't do a whole lot about it. Yeah, I can. I'm going to close these. Bear with me, guys. Get to see behind the scenes. Maybe not. Way too much open. All right. Let's see. Don't save. All right. There we go. All right. I'm going to try it again. All right. So Sharon got me. Can you see this? Can you see it? Willy Wonka's everlasting gobstoppers. Not necessarily the same ones that Gene Wilder handed out. Good day to you, sir. No, nothing like that. But I'm a huge fan. Always has sweet tooth. And I love my gobstoppers. A couple of years ago, they stopped making gobstoppers. Broke my heart. My favorite little jawbreaker ever. They stopped making them. I'd say a couple of years ago. It's probably been a year and a half, 2 years. Seems like many years. They stopped making them. I looked for them forever. Well, apparently they just barely started production in a few parts of the United States. Someone posted them on Amazon. A dozen boxes of gobstoppers. Sharon went out there. She knew how much I missed them. So she bought me a dozen boxes of Gobstoppers. It's a fantastic birthday gift. So yeah, I've got enough Gobstoppers now to last me at least a couple of days. They're that everlasting. I wish that they were. I actually asked for Gobstoppers as part of my HOH basket when I was in the Big Brother house. But I also asked for Dr. Pepper and I asked for beef jerky. I love those, but it's also kind of an idea of, hey, that sounds very Texan and all. I got to kind of rep and all that. So I'll take the beef jerky. Everyone will like that. I'm not so sure about the Gobstoppers. I really thought they'd give me both, but they didn't. Maybe they couldn't find them either. They thought I was talking about the Willy Wonka. He doesn't realize that was just a movie, and there's not such thing. But anyway, I got Gobstoppers for my gift. Fantastic, fantastic gift. So I did that. Let me tell you. Let me look at your question. Let me tell you another gift I got amongst many. I got from my son and my daughter-in-law tickets. We had to go over to a wedding near the Austin area yesterday or last weekend. We'll talk about that this past weekend. My son surprised me yesterday by getting tickets to the college baseball game between my Texas A&M Aggies and the villain University of Texas Longhorns. Boo. So we don't boo. His. So our big rivals went to the game there in Austin. Unfortunately, the good guys ended up on the bottom of the score by 1 run, but it was a great game. It was a close game. Had so much fun with them watching the game. So yeah, it was a fantastic birthday between baseball games and Gobstoppers. My daughter got me some stuff as well. She got us tickets to him. We're going over to see Ovi and Hannah from my seat. We're going to see them get married later this year. And so she got us, they're getting married over in the Tennessee area. So they got us tickets to go see the Grand Ole Opry while we're over there. So yeah, it's good. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. So there you go. A lot of different activities related around the holiday. Now, the birthday day itself. It was Sharon and myself. I'm spending way too much time talking about birthdays, but I had fun, so I'll do it anyway. Sharon and I met up with my daughter and son-in-law who live here in the Houston area. Went and ate ramen. Whenever we go celebrate my wife's birthday, Sharon likes to do very standard kind of food. I'm always looking for the exotics. And this time I said, let's go do out of Japanese. So we went and had ramen. So good. I love it. Kind of a different type of ramen I'd had in the past. But these aren't the ramens like you get at the grocery store for 59 cents. You put hot water in. Now, these were full-blown, who knows what all was mixed in with them. Big old bowls of soup. So good. So amazing. So fantastic. So we did that. And then over the weekend while we were at this wedding, my daughter, son-in-law, son, daughter-in-law, and Sharon all got together to have a big fancy Saturday brunch at a place in New Braunfels, which is kind of a vacation town here in Texas. So I had a blast with my birthday. Hey, I'm kind of liking being 60 so far. See, I'm having fun so far. So far, so good. All right, let's talk about some other things as well. Mark Taylor saying, are you glad they knocked out David on Survivor? And then Judd Dangle is saying, the dairy defender. Oh, I love that. The dairy defender got booted. And Ed's saying, hard to see David go on a slip. Oh yeah. It was so horrible on the immunity challenge. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We lost David. Now I've said before in the show that I felt that David was maybe just because he was so dominant that he just maybe wasn't going to make it to the end. And sure enough, he wasn't. But I don't know that it was his strength. I gotta say, I'm so impressed with this guy. You see other people on this last challenge, they're holding that bar. You see their muscles just shaking, and it's just raw determination that allowed them to stay up, some of them as long as they did. David's looking like he's just a statue. His biceps about this big around, and they aren't moving at all. You would look like he's just taking a nap up there. Incredible. I would be so scared to that. I would be so worried and see him as such a threat if I was playing that game of Survivor. He just kind of up there like he was just a walk in the park. It cost him, though. I guess maybe being so lackadaisical, it wasn't his muscles that tripped him up. It was his feet. Because you're right. He slipped. You had to stay in the box. He didn't. He slipped. Suddenly, Joe wins this thing. Joe has power. Joe gets to take people on a reward challenge, which only gives you even more power to pull people together. But I don't think it's David's strength that cost him on this one. Gosh, I should have put spoiler out there. Hopefully y'all are aware at this point in time. If you aren't, sorry. But no, I don't think it was his strength that cost him. I think it was him just trying a little too hard, maybe to get Mitch out, a little too worried. Well, Mitch or anyone that wasn't part of the kind of the strong group, the strong alliance. You know, he was so big into this, us 6 strong players. We've got to make it happen. He got Joe on his wrong side by saying Joe had backed off on a promise. But I know what Joe's weak spot is at this point, right? You got to file this stuff away. And I don't know if anyone else on this island knows it, but Joe obviously gets very upset if someone accuses him of not following through or not doing what he said he was going to do. That's his Achilles heel. I don't know how you take advantage of that, but if I was out there and I heard that, it seems like it could even be something as simple as if you want to match him, pit him against someone else, just come over there and say, you know, Kyle just keeps saying that you went back on your word. And you got to be very careful about the way you say it, but just kind of hint around or imply even that that's what Kyle said or whoever you want to go after. But it certainly seems like we know what gets in Joe's cross, so to speak, right? But I really think that when that happened, and it wasn't just Joe. I just feel like David, because you remember he challenged Kyle a little bit too and said, hey, I thought this was easy. And he kind of went back on us. And just, I don't think that David necessarily had enough respect or an acknowledgement that other people are playing a different game that may not match up exactly with yours. And same way with Big Brother. I think you have to play this game knowing at all times that while we may work together, at the end of the day, we all have slightly different paths that we think we need to get to the end. And it's not so much that we're going to call out someone if they have a slightly different path. Just figure out ways that you can work with them and make it happen. Yeah, in all honesty, Nicole and I had different paths than Big Brother on the end. I think Nicole probably was a little more willing to have Tommy in a final 3 than I was, because Tommy and her were so close, and I thought there was a very good chance that Tommy would take Nicole. I knew he wouldn't take me. So even between the two of us, we had slightly different objectives. Now, fortunately, we were able to work together kind of from start to finish. We never really had a lot of conflict with that. But I don't think it's horrible if David knows that maybe Kyle's got a little something else going on, or that Joe maybe has a little, you don't have to call him out. Just be aware of it. Keep it filed away in your back of your brain, and know there may come a time where you can't necessarily work together as much as you've preached the whole time. And maybe that's all about being a little bit more flexible in playing one of these reality TV strategy games. You can't expect everyone's going to do everything that you want, no matter how much they may have said so 2 weeks ago, a week ago, just yesterday, just an hour ago. That doesn't mean they don't have different objectives. And I think that's what cost them. I think everyone just got a little irritated with David, making everyone feel like they were doing something wrong, start seeing some paranoia being created. Yeah, there were 9 people. Now there's 8. At that stage, everyone, you can only work together for so long before you start seeing some group splintering. And I think that's what happened. So, yeah, I hated to see him go, but I can't say I'm 100% surprised. I want to see what happens now with Joe and Eva and all of that. Marcus saying, can my 2 favorites, Eva and Joe, win the show? Maybe. They voted the right way. They voted David out. If I recall, the only people who voted to send Mitch out were Star, and I don't understand what Star's thinking was on that. Maybe we'll see, but Star and Mary and David voted against Mitch, and everyone else voted to send David out. Well, Mary and David were tight, so that's not a surprise. Star, I like Star. She's had some very human moments where I thought she was very helpful and sympathetic, some other people. But at the same time, I feel like people aren't showing a whole lot of respect to Star. They don't really seem like they're consulting her or involving her in the process at all. She's almost just her own ship out in the bay, making her own decisions, and no one even really seems to care that much about what she's doing, which I think is a mistake. I mean, but right now everyone's saying, we got the votes. We don't need Star at this point in time. That's not always going to be the case. Somewhere down the road, and maybe it's this week, you may really want that extra vote, especially that we know. Now, no one else knows on the show, but we know that Eva has that extra vote that's, or the extra safety without power, which means at some point she can stand up and walk away. And she's safe, but it also means that you don't get the benefit of her vote. Suddenly, Eva feels a little threatened. She gets up and walks away. Star has a vote. No one has talked to her enough to get her on their side. All kinds of things could happen. So I think they're making a mistake, but Star just seemed to be kind of, and maybe there was more talk that we just didn't see on the end. That's the issue with Survivors. You don't always see everything that needs to be seen, but Star voted, Mary voted, and then David voted to send out Mitch. Everyone else voting the right way to go the other direction. So Eva and Joe should be safe. But having said that, we saw kind of the first cracks in that group of 6 alliance, right? Once that first little crack develops, you're starting to see the paranoia develop, and I could easily see it splintering into Joe and Eva, Camilla and Kyle, and then who else is left? And then who knows? I don't know where Mary goes with it at this point. She'll probably try to pull a strong group together, and we'll see. We saw a little blurb for the teaser for next week. I think it was Star or someone saying, or maybe it's Eva saying, now it's 4 against 4. How's this going to work out? That would be fun. And if it's 4 against 4, then Eva, boy, that walking away may give you safety, but it could really crater your other 3 people you're working with. So she's going to have a lot to think about going forward. We'll see. We'll see how loyal she is to Joe at that point in time also. All right, Cindy Hire. Cindy, I hope you're doing fantastic. Cindy saying, has anyone else watching Battle Camps on Netflix? It's another reality show with celebs from Netflix shows. I've seen the posting. I saw a lot of posts about it over the past few days. It looks like it could be fun. I have not seen it yet. Just between weddings and birthdays and everything else, we're way behind on reality TV, but I will be watching that. You know what else was announced? It hadn't premiered yet, but Destination X. And the only person I recognized right off the bat was Josh Martinez from Big Brother. Could be others. I just saw him do a post on. Apparently that competition is they take you out in the middle of nowhere, and you compete, and you have to somehow find out where you are first, and then from there maybe compete against other people. Don't know any of the rules yet, but yeah, Battle Camp sounds like it's fantastic. So thank you, Cindy. I definitely want to. Well, let me know what you thought about it. I don't know if did they release it all or just the first few episodes, because Netflix kind of does a little of each. But I've heard that's going to be a good one. I think Josh's will probably be fun. We got a lot of reality TV to watch, right? All right, Martino Williams is saying some people don't like battlebacks on Big Brother. I kind of like them, but yeah. And Brian out there saying Cliff's a big fan of battlebacks. Yeah. I mean, what was the rest of that? Saying some people don't like battlebacks on Big Brother, but I like battlebacks. Wish Big Brother 26 had battlebacks. I like battlebacks. Let me say a couple things on it. I like it when it is when it's a true battleback and the people whose games are at risk are able to compete to get back in, which is a roundabout way of saying I'm not a real big fan. Was it 25, I think, where you had Cameron and Jared, and they both, they were just kind of there waiting for someone else. Was it Jag that picked which one he wanted to save? Or no, the other way around. Cameron saved Jag. It's been a couple of years, but I don't like but I don't like battlebacks where you just get picked. And I don't like them when it's a random deal. We've seen once or twice. Was it Jocasta? I don't remember. Quite a few seasons back where it was a little more random, rolling balls into a spinning wheel. And I get that. I'm not hugely opposed, but I like the battlebacks that take place early in the season and that actually involve some skill. Thankfully for me, it wasn't a whole lot of physical strength skills on my particular battleback. Rolling a ball works pretty well for me, so I was happy for mine. Not as big a fan of battlebacks if it occurs past the jury phase, when you're getting to smaller groups of people, because then you potentially could have someone who missed 2 or 3 evictions. And it's a lot more vital there towards the end game than it is at the beginning. At the beginning, you can say, yeah, you missed some evictions, but it was when there were 15 people in the house, 14 people in the house. Not quite as critical or as vital as you do at the end if it's suddenly 8, 7, 6 people and you've missed out on those. So, yeah, I like them. Now, there's some people, I know Evil Dick's one of the ones. I remember when I got out, he had posted some stuff saying, as soon as you get voted out, whether you win Battle Back or not, I don't think you deserve to win the $500,000. I obviously disagree. In my situation, the fact that I got voted out, but I was back in the house just 2 minutes later or whatever, 2.5 minutes it took me, kind of negated that argument, in my opinion. But yeah, I always told everyone, I'd rather that you give me credit for doing what it took when my back is against the wall than penalize me because just for whatever random things happen, I just happen to be there at the end and happen. There goes my camera again. All right, we're just going to talk at this point in time. We'll see if it pops back on. Time to do a little diagnostics. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Misfire, Martina Williams, Karen Hummer saying, I like Extracted. The end was disappointing. Yeah, me too. All right, let me try to fix this. I agree. Here's what I was a little disappointed. I think it just came back when I did that. All right, there we go. Here's what disappointed me a little bit with Extracted. I'm not going to talk about who won because that could be a spoiler for some people. It's not quite as common as the others. But here's what I didn't like about the Extracted finale. We hear on and on. It's all about the last person who's left. The family has to decide. Whoever has the most determination, the most discipline is going to win this thing. And then at the end, it just turns into a race. It's whoever can get there the fastest. It's not about mental fortitude suddenly. It's just a little bit more of an survivor obstacle course. Not quite, but you know what I mean. It's more about who can get to this point first to win. Now, I get it. You can't necessarily have a show where a person could stay out there for months and months, although that'd be kind of cool. Hey, put them out there somewhere where the winter starts coming in. You know they're not going to last that long, but that's not what they did. But we've seen that in a couple other shows as well where people, what was it? Outcast, I think, was one of them. I don't remember. There's a few where suddenly it's all about endurance. And then last minute, just to finish up the show, they have this little competition. Not my favorite way to finish it. But having said that, I still enjoyed the show. Sharon and I talked about it. And at the very end, I thought there was going to be a twist. I wanted there to be a twist. And I'm suggesting it going forward. I really wanted towards the very end for them to come on and say, all right, guys, here's the twist for this season. Your person who's out in the field is coming in. One of you two have to decide. One of you is going out to take their place. Or maybe the other families that are still left get to pick which of you two goes out and takes the place of the other person. But one of y'all's heading out there and have them switch it up a little bit. So now suddenly the person who is out there knows all the politics that's gone on the inside. The person on the outside who's all about survival and everything, now they're back inside having to potentially negotiate, just play a different game. And suddenly it's not all on one person, whether they win this or not. Well, it never was because the other two people decided. But suddenly everyone's roles have reversed just a little bit. And I would have loved to see that happen. Maybe they'll do that some season down the road. Flip it around. Take the person who has no thoughts, who's been spending the whole time saying, that's brutal. Oh, that person I feel so sorry for them. They have nothing to eat. Well, guess what? You better finish up that Egg McMuffin because you're heading out there right now. You're going to do the same thing. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? So, hey, NBC or Fox or whoever, I think it was Fox did that. Fox, if you're listening, I got a twist for you for next season. So there you go. All right. Just a thought. Just the way my mind turns as I watch these reality shows. All right, let's see what else we've got. First Jelly, just Jelly. Sorry, David was working with his alliance. He was too strong and tried to be in charge. There you go. Tried to be in charge of everyone and was telling everyone what to do. That's it. When you try to take too much of a lead, sometimes you pay the price. I think you got it spot on with that opinion. Absolutely true. It's hard. I've always said that I would not ever necessarily want to be. The camera stopped again. It's whatever. I've always said I wouldn't necessarily want to be the president of the United States. I'd want to be, the chief of staff or someone, the person who's whispering into their ear and helping drive a lot of ideas and thoughts and concepts, while not necessarily being the person that's attracting all the lightning and the vitriol and everything else. That's how I would like to lead in a lot of different ways. Have some other figurehead and let me be back behind the curtain a little bit and doing what I did. And I suppose in some ways I tried to do that when I played the game of Big Brother. Let's stop this again. I tried to do that a little bit when I was playing the game of Big Brother, of letting some other people be a little bit more the loud vocal folks while I was back there. Call me the puppet master. That's the way I envision myself playing that game. Sometimes I control those marionettes a little bit better than other times. In the end, the marionettes turned against me, took out the guy behind the curtains. But hey, but yeah, I think you're right. I think David just got a little too full of himself, maybe. I will say this, he did not seem real happy. You know, some people say, hey, good game, guys, and that's the end of it. I think David was absolutely bewildered, caught off guard, blindsided at his vote out. He didn't yell. He didn't hit anyone. He didn't pick Jeff Probst up and throw him over the edge of the tribal council stage, but he didn't look real happy either. So yeah, you know, there's a few other people I've met. Was it Jonathan Young? I think from a few seasons back. So another just big old strong guy. He's so strong. You see him in person, even more so. I just think as much as it benefits you in the first half of Survivor to be strong and an athletic competitor, because no one wants to get rid of those guys, right? You know, you always need someone to push you up the wall or carry the heavy crates and stuff. As much as it helps you in the first half of the season, it really starts catching up to you at the end. Plus the fact, now this was a physical challenge, but it seems like Survivor more so than Big Brother even still starts going more towards mental challenges and something a little less than strength mixed in with their final challenges. Suddenly you've got fire making, you've got maybe rolling those balls down the different ramps, balancing balls on plates, some of the things that we've seen. There's just a lot more than pure physical strength. So there's a lot of opportunities where, you know, all it takes is once and they may be coming after you. So yeah, David, he was fun to watch. And an absolute beast. I put him on some other shows. I'd love to see him on, I don't know if he'd do the challenge, but certainly my brother, in terms of loving the milk, he even said something about at least he'd go back and drink a couple of gallons of chocolate milk. I hope they got plenty of it waiting for you, David, back at Ponderosa's little camp while you're waiting for the final jury and all that. I hope they're loading you up with milk because you deserve it, my friend. And if I was out in Fiji, I'd be right there drinking it with you from start to finish. Yeah, milk. It does the body good. Look at David. How could someone drink milk and look like that unless milk is just incredibly wonderful for you? And it works for cows. Why doesn't it work for us? Yeah, I drink my share of milk. All right, let's see what else we got. Janet Johnson, Amazing Race. All right. Amazing Race. You know, I was kind of where were they? Belgrade? Or no, Sofia, right? Bulgaria? Yeah, I think so. Been kind of weird challenges they've had. And there goes my camera again. All right, I'm just gonna restart it all by next week. We'll see what happens. Kind of weird challenge. Dancing with weird little cosplay animal looking things. And this week they've got golden crosses getting thrown into rivers, and they got to jump in with all of the men standing around watching them jump in and all. Just different kind of competitions for these folks. Let me see if I can stop this particular episode. But having said that, kind of, you know, it was so rough that the mother-daughter team got their, seemed like they were doing okay, got their clue, and I don't know how, well, I guess I know, misread the clue. Or spoilers. I won't do it. Maybe it's too late already. If you haven't seen it, maybe tune out for just a little bit. But the mother-daughter team misreads the clue, says take taxis. Everyone else is not taking taxis. You know, it's not going to be a good day for them, right? And as it turns out, it didn't really matter. Even taking taxis everywhere they went, they still finished up in last place. So, you know, no harm, no foul, I suppose. But how disappointing. I really thought the edit was setting it up where they were going to get there just a little ahead of the last couple of teams, be so excited. And then Phil was going to say, unfortunately, guys, you didn't read your clue and you got a 4-hour penalty. Because how do you do that? You can't say you've got to go all the way back and do all these tasks again. You've got to just at that time say there's a 4-hour, 2-hour penalty. Let's just make up whatever it takes to make it exciting. I don't know how they figured that out, but I thought we were going to get that. No, as it turns out, it didn't matter because they came in last place anyway. And I'm okay with that. But there was a lot of other stuff that I questioned in this episode as well. Is it Han and Golden? I hope I'm pronouncing their names right. It's funny, Amazing Race. I don't remember names quite as much as I do other shows. They're always just the mother daughter team, the father son team, the brother sister team. I think it's Han and Holden, perhaps. I thought it was very dangerous of them. Remember, there was one task where they had to decipher a bunch of Cyrillic, and from that, then it interpreted. In the beginning, was the word was God. God was the word. They turn around and they tell the mother daughter team. Now we saw Jonathan and Eva earlier, who told some other teams, but they were a lot further ahead in the race. So I don't. They said they were doing it to buy a little credit on down the road in case they needed it. I get that. I think it's probably not a bad idea at all. If you're up towards the front, hopefully the worst that's going to happen, maybe it's a difference between first and second, but probably it's not going to make a difference. And it does potentially help you down the road. So I don't have any problem with them doing it. But when you're at the back end of the pack and you tell someone else they were the last two and they tell the other ones any help at all, I think that's very dangerous. And in this case, it turns out they would have been okay anyway. But I think there's a point where you can't be too friendly in the game of Amazing Race. And the sister, is it Han or Holden? Golden. She basically shut him down and said, yeah, no, stop. Don't tell him anything else. Because he started to tell him what they had translated. She stopped him from that. So I think she started realizing that as much as we want to help you, there is a point where we can't help you anymore. But I enjoyed that. I watch these things where they have to do the dances, and I'm amazed at some of these guys. Now, I know that one guy, he's a Vegas performer, stuntman, or I don't remember what his title is. Some of these guys got that dance very quickly, much more quickly than I ever would. That would be my Achilles heel. Is a thing like that. I feel like I could do the mental comps. I could do the physical comps if it's carrying. My Achilles heels are going to be running 20 miles, not my biggest strength, and dance, anything that involves rhythm, just a little more difficult for me. So I felt for those people as soon as I saw they had to do it. I bet it was fun. I had fun. I don't know if Sharon enjoyed it as much. I was constantly stopping the show because they kept showing Cyrillic alphabets. I've been to Russia. I've been to Kazakhstan. So I've been to places. I've been to Baku, Azerbaijan. I've been to places where they speak Russian as a language. And so I can't speak Russian, but I can read out the Cyrillic alphabet. I can look at the letters and physically or linguistically say what each letter sounds like and sound it out. And so, like, there was a sign of a subway station that said, like, the Lieutenant Dmitriev station or something. And I paused it and I said, oh, let me try to do Dmitriev. It's Lieutenant Dmitriev. Then Sharon said, yeah, it says it in English below. Well, yeah, I didn't look at below, but I was stopping way too often trying to sound stuff up just to kind of prove to Sharon that I really can read Cyrillic. I'll never speak the Russian language, but it is kind of cool. I can at least sound it out and know what it sounds like. So that's one of my little hidden talents I've picked up over the years. But now it was a fun episode. I just think that Sofia and Bulgaria, maybe not having the most crazy wild competitions that you would expect. No jet ski racing, no jumping out of planes, no high-end sports car racing. Nah, jump in a river, grab the gold cross kind of stuff. But still, yeah, expect the unexpected on all the shows, right? All right. Ma saying have a new play idea. I'm doing research about it. All right, well, Ma, I can't tell you I'm an expert of any form at all in things involving plays and playwrights and all that. So you may not want to consult me, but if you wanted to, I think I'll always give it a read through. And I think I said before, if not, I'll say it real quick here and then we'll move on. My kids were both in debate in high school. Sharon and I both did debate judging a few times. It is amazing, some of these plays that students write, how they can fit so much emotion and drama and crying and screaming and everything else into a 3-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute play. Oh my gosh. If these plays were about real people, you would just It would be the darkest possible world that we would live in if some of these things were true to life. That was incredible. It make you cry just judging it. So, Ma, I hope yours is a little happier than that. But I'm curious to see. You may be the next Eugene O'Neill or something, and I'd be so happy to say I knew you when you first got started. All right, Chaz is saying, I hope Eugene O'Neill's a playwright. Right, I think he is. Chaz is saying, we're getting closer. Are you excited for another summer of no sleep? Yeah, I'm trying to prep for it a little bit. And then Terry's saying, can't wait for Big Brother to start at your after party. Oh yeah, I'm so ready for it. Yeah, we're getting there. They've got to be close. Well, what are we? We're getting into May. They've probably already. They certainly have already identified some people. Not everyone. Don't think it's too late. Just trust me. They wait to the last minute to grab some of these people, but they do have probably. Yeah, what do I know? I'm not part of casting, but just based on what I do know, they probably have a core group of 3 or 4 people that are their leading candidates, folks that they really think would be great on this show, and now they're trying to grab people in that complement them or work against them. A little bit of all of that, but trying to find other pieces of that puzzle. It's like when you solve a jigsaw puzzle, you get the corner piece done, you get that first little chunk, and now you start looking for pieces that match up with that little bit that you've done. I think it's probably about that stage of Big Brother casting. They've got a few pieces that they're pretty comfortable. They know where they go. Now they're just trying to fit the other ones in around them is where I think they're at. But they may be at the very end of the puzzle and not be able to find that one puzzle piece because it fell on the floor or because it hadn't applied as a video yet. That puzzle piece could be you. So but yes, I am very excited. I need to be getting more sleep right now. I won't. I'll be exhausted and wiped out. I'll be excited the first couple of months, and then by the end, it just drag the way it is every year. But yeah, I'm incredibly excited. We're almost there. All right, we survived no Big Brother Canada, so so far so good. Martino saying, hopefully Big Brother 27 won't have janky week to try to get the ants out of the house. I'm okay without having janky. Watch. It would not surprise me at all if you didn't end up from this point forward having make an appearance every single season, just like Otev, just like what's the damn freaking robot that what's wrong that irritates you, that insults you? Zingbot. Thank you. God, yeah, now you turn 60 and the mind just turns up. No, it doesn't. I'm not blaming age. Zingbot. I think you could get janky just like Zingbot, just like Otev, just like the was the alien that showed up. You could get janky as a little bit that shows up from this point forward. And that's fine. As long as it's just a little gimmick, a little skit time thing. I don't necessarily want to see everyone in the backyard again like they did this past season. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of splitting the house up for an entire week. It's just too hard from a feed standpoint. I think we miss out on the two sides can't talk to each other. If you want to do it for a day or two, fine. I'm okay with that. If you want to punish some people by making them even sleep outside or the haves and have-nots, I get that, but to have zero interaction for a week, I just think that's tough. So yeah, we'll see. Chaz is saying, what's your favorite and least favorite Big Brother twist that they've ever done? Oh gosh. Oh, that is tough. I kind of like the battle back for personal reasons, but no, favorite and least favorite. I really didn't like the outdoor Dire Fest or whatever they called it that season, where they had an HOH competition that involves stacking styrofoam containers on top of each other. DJ Showtime won that. And hey, props to him for winning an HOH, but that's probably not my favorite HOH competition and just not my favorite week of the show. So I'm going to throw that one up there as a huge no. Other twist I don't necessarily like. It's the do-overs, the push the button and we start over again kind of stuff. There's probably ways you could do that where I would be okay with it, but I just feel like you get people to commit and do things, and then it doesn't mean anything because you go all the way back. And I feel like it wastes a week of work and activity and potentially exciting strategy moves. So I'm not a big fan on the time machines or whatever you want to call it. But I'll tell you what my all-time least favorite twist is, and they've done it all different ways. But any twist that involves someone going home on day number one, as much as everyone fights to get into that house, I want everyone to have at least a week in that house to interact, to sell people on who they are. If you send someone out on day number one for whatever reason, all you're doing is forcing people to potentially rely upon stereotypes and assumptions, which I think is 100% opposite of what Big Brother is all about. I love every season. I see the cast reveal. I get a little 3-minute interview. I go in and make guesses on who I think will do well, who won't do well. And half the time I'm wrong. And I love being proven wrong because unfortunately we all have to, at the very beginning, rely to a certain extent on stereotypes and assumptions and things like that. And it's just not what I want done. So when you send someone home on day one, it's the same situation. I don't like it. I always feel sorry for those people. I don't ever want to see that. So that's my least favorite. My favorite twist, I'll have to think about that one for a little bit. The twin twist have always been kind of exciting. I didn't like the twist of Tommy and Christy knowing each other or Holly and Kat knowing each other. If you're going to have a twist, make it a part of the official program and not just because casting found people who knew each other. It's a big old world. How do you get people that knew each other? Open up the nets a little bit more so you don't get that. But I do like those kind of twists. I don't know. I'll think about that for a little bit more for next week as far as my favorite. You can tell I got a lot of least favorites. Favorite of all time. And yeah, I'll think about that one a little bit more. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? Ma saying the Korean alphabet. Oh, that sounds hard. Korean alphabet's really easy to read because it matches your mouth when you pronounce the letters. I'm sorry, Ma. And let's see. I've looked at the Korean alphabet. I don't think my mouth goes into the shapes that they show on those alphabets. I mean, I know there's some little round ones, but there's a lot of squiggles all around it as well. I have been to Asia enough that I also can tell the Korean alphabet from the Chinese alphabet, from the Japanese alphabet. So I can kind of recognize the different Asian languages, but can't pronounce any of them. I know a few words in Chinese, Mandarin Chinese and all. Not and I know a couple in Japanese, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Popular music sometimes teaches a few things here and there. Domo arigato. Shusha. And Niha. I know a few words here and there, but yeah, Ma, you're a step up on me if you can pronounce the Korean alphabet. But maybe that's what I'll do next. All right, my camera froze again, so that's all right. Your play is about a family who is split by the American Civil War, and both die in opposite sides, never reconciling, but buried next to each other. Historical drama. All right, well, I can tell that you've got plenty of emotion built into yours, Ma. I actually could see that, and I should give you ideas because your ideas are obviously much better. I picture the play starting off. You think you're going to have North and South, and these are going to be the people that you're cheering for, you're cheering against, and scene one, act one, they're both in the ground, and people are saying, "Oh, we lost so and so." Well, yeah, we lost so and so too. And then it just dashes all of your expectations, and then it's all about the family surrounding them. That's what I think of, Ma, when you say that. I like the idea. I'm a huge fan of historical battles. Sharon and I are watching Outlander, which is the season now is all about the American Revolution and people fighting for different sides. Jamie Fraser's got a son who's fighting for the British while he's fighting for the Americans. And I certainly, my family grew up in Hogtown, Tennessee, right up on the border against Kentucky. We've gone back and looked. We've got people who fought for the North. We've got people who fought for the South. I've got relatives who fought on both sides. There are a lot of people who had very direct relatives who fought on both sides. That was horrible war. But all right, Ma, you got me a little bit intrigued. So you'll have that ready next week, right? Yeah, I know how that works. That's all right, cool. Now I'm a little excited to hear how it goes. So congratulations for doing that. There's a chat saying this is random. Did you watch Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon? Watch Game of Thrones, read the books first. In fact, I said, I am not going to watch the shows until I read the books. I got caught up as far as I could, and George R. Martin still hadn't finished up his, so I finally had to watch the shows. Love the shows, just like everyone else. I feel like they rushed the last little bit, and it just didn't work for me. So as a result, just in a little bit of protest, I have not seen House of the Dragon yet. I'll watch it. I love the book so much more. And the first few seasons were fantastic of the show, and I love the music. The theme song for Game of Thrones, perfect. But after that, it just got, I just got a little burnt out on it. So yeah, one of these days I'll watch it. But no, I have not seen it yet. All right, Amanda's saying, hope they call you to host a competition this summer. That would be cool. Either let me come in and host a competition, or just bring me in on day number 1, day number 0. Before you ever show up, let me just go to sequester spot and talk to all these house guests and say, all right, I got 30 seconds to give you some advice. I would have so much fun trying to help some of these players out. They don't want that because they want to see the drama and the chaos and the goofy play and all that. But I would love to, if nothing else, I would love to be in the house just as a show of support to the people who are playing the game. During my season, we had a lot of past house guests who came in. Casey, Tyler, Swaggy, and Bailey were in there. But the one I remembered more than anyone else was Caitlin Herman. She came in, and because she had kind of a rough experience with the puzzle at Center Home and all that, she came in, and I was so excited to see her. And she was you could tell she was having fun with it. She was smiling, and we were having fun getting a chance to interact with someone like that. And then later I found out she was feeling kind of cool to get to meet me and all that. And so it goes both ways. Did y'all know Caitlin and I have the same birthday? Not necessarily the same year. No, very much not so, but both of them are April 24th. So she's my birthday soul sister, or whatever you call it. But yeah, we had a blast seeing some of the old players and realizing that we're now part of that fraternity. I would love to do the same thing. So yeah, CBS, if you're listening, I'm ready. I work for peanuts, literally, or gobstoppers, one or the other. Chaz is saying, how stressful and hard to get through first eviction. Were you confident you'd make it through that? I mean, no, not confident at all. I mean, I got banished on day number 1. I got nominated by Christy week number 1. So yeah, no, it was hard. I knew I was going to be a target. That's the only thing that made it a little easier for me, is I already knew that didn't catch me off guard. But I certainly spent a lot of time trying to point the finger at other people and make sure there were bigger targets than myself during that week number 1. Unfortunately, it turned out that when Sam used remember, I don't know if you remember, he won veto and he used it on me. I did a lot of background work to get Sam to feel comfortable using on me. I talked a lot about he and I were both dads. I brought a Bible into the house that my son had given me. I certainly, knowing Sam, that his granddad was a preacher and all that, I may have left the Bible sitting around a few times with my name on the front of it, just so as a reminder to Sam. Yeah, I did a lot of background work to try to make that happen. Sure enough, Sam used the veto on me, which was fantastic. The bad part of it was that Christy put up Ovi in my place, which I hated, because Ovi and I were working together and was and still is just an incredible friend. And so yeah, it didn't work out. Once that happened, then I knew I was safe on week number 1, right? So then it was just a matter of Cat versus Ovi. And unfortunately, the writing was pretty quickly on the wall with Ovi that he probably was going home. So then I was faced with, how do I be a friend to Ovi and let him know that people are lying to his face when they say he's good, without burning my own bridges as well? And so I eventually told Ovi, said, look, they're telling you this. I'm just telling you, that's not what I'm being told. And he figured out before the end and all. But yeah, it is stressful, not just you going home. It was stressful knowing there was a first eviction taking place. Martino saying people shouldn't go home on a night 1, hate night 1 twist. Absolutely, 100% with you. Can't stand it. But no, I think we were all, it just hit home that first couple of weeks, because we had a week without live feeds, and then we had a week of live feeds. We had 2 weeks before someone went home, other than David, who was night 1, hated it, but at least he got a chance to come back. But no, we had basically 2 weeks, and it was just all fun and games. Everyone's sitting around, hanging out, singing songs, and acting like it truly was summer camp and all that. Once that first eviction comes up and you know that someone's game is over, someone you got to know, and I don't care if you kind of were okay with them, you didn't like them, you were friends with them. Everyone at that point had gotten to know the other people and knew that someone's game was ending right there. And that was stressful regardless of who it was. I felt it with Ovi, I felt it with Kimmy, I felt it with me, I felt it, with Bella, with David. Everyone, when they went home, you knew that someone's dream was being dashed. Now that's the game, and you move on as quickly as you can. It was tough for me. I lost Ovi. I lost all my Cliffs Angels. I lost Kat. I lost Jessica. Nicole was the last man standing in a bunch of different groups. But yeah, it's stressful no matter what. All right, let's see. Hold on a second. See if I can get my comments to work at least. Because, sorry guys, maybe I can't. All right. Oh, I'm frozen in. That's why. All right, hold on, guys. Yeah, I don't want to print out my picture. I printed it out anyway. Well, cool. All right, Sharon. Guess what? I got a new portrait to put on the wall. All right, I can't. I can't get. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. All right, now I see it. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, just having fun this evening. All right. Well, now I can't see it. All right, who? Thanks, Sharon. I appreciate it. Butterfingers, but I appreciate it. All right. For those of you who aren't aware, Sharon threw her phone to me because I couldn't get mine to work. Tim Cox. All right, Tim. Did it all for you, sir. Tim is saying it's Derby week here in Louisville, Kentucky. Any Big Brother Survivor people coming that you know of? Wow. Tim, thank you so much for the support. I just saw that on here. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I don't do that. I do it to labor love that I do the show. So for you to give me a little extra support is always appreciated. Never necessary, but I certainly want to acknowledge it. Tim, thank you so much. As far as coming, no one I know of, but as much as we're all all of us on reality TV, we're all into the high exposure, fancy, get dressed up, celebrity kind of events and everything. Man, I'd love to go to Derby week. Wear fancy. Do guys wear fancy hats? Probably not so much. Tucks and tails or something. Forget all. Just give me a mint julep. I'd be fine with it. Sharon and I've never been to the Derby, never been to any really important horse races, but Sharon and I have, over the years, been some horse races in Louisiana. There's a place, Rio Dosa Downs out in eastern New Mexico. It's up in the mountains, just fantastic. Horses, I don't know that there's anything too special about them, but yeah, we do. We've been to those races. I had right after I got Big Brother, I reached out to, or I had some guys reach out to me and say, "Hey, would you be our celebrity guest picker for a whole day of pari-mutuel betting for, I don't know, Saragossa or somewhere?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And being the engineer I am, I just went in and looked at track time, all this kind of stuff, and to pick the races and actually beat all those guys. Just dumb luck. Don't be coming to me for betting advice. I would go broke if I was trying to do horse betting for a living. I just got lucky on that particular week, but I think I impressed some people. Now I am not going to the Derby. I would love to. Maybe that'd be one of my bucket lists. A lot of people say, "I'd love to go see the Masters. It's so cool." Yeah, that'd be cool, but there's so much grandeur and other stuff that goes on around the Kentucky Derby and everything. That'd be cool. Kentucky Derby, Belmont, I'd go to them all. It'd be a lot of fun. Well, have fun. It's so we got the Derby going on. I guess Coachella was going on. I certainly saw a post about that. So all kinds of stuff going on, all during my birthday week. Who would have? Thank you, Kentucky, for the celebration in my honor. I absolutely appreciate it. All right, 8:00. I guess we'll shut it down now. Now that we've taken out the camera, now that I've had to restart a couple of times, I'll figure it all out, guys. It's all about adapting to whatever happens. All right, guys, we're gonna do that. Oh gosh, I never even talked about alpaca versus llamas. This wedding I went to. We'll talk about next week. I got some stories for y'all, guys. Have a fantastic week. I'll finish off a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all as well. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, turning on notifications, and hitting the old thumbs up. And with that, we'll shut it down, and I'll leave it on a bit of a teaser. Yeah, crazy wedding. We'll talk all about it next week. Until then, guys, enjoy the last couple of days of April. April showers bring May flowers, so bring on the blue bonnets here in Texas and whatever y'all got. Until then, have a fantastic week. I'll talk to y'all next week. Cheers, my friends. Bye.